Uh-oh. I guess that works. Oh, no! That's what happens when you want to just talk into the camera at any given moment, because then you don't have the proper equipment, but that's okay. I got my steering wheel. Steering wheel. Thank you. I just want to say was that yesterday I went to go see the Spider-Man re-release, Spider-Man 2, because it's Spider-Man Mondays, so is this thing recording? Yeah, it is. Good. I wouldn't want to sit here and start talking and not have it be recording. It happens more than you think. Spider-Man 2. So I went to go see Spider-Man 2 yesterday, and they're doing this whole Spider-Man Mondays, I'm sure and I saw the first one last Monday, I saw the second one yesterday, and I'm going to see the third one next Monday, and that's it. And then I'll probably wait to see No Way Home, because I personally have the original trilogy in my heart, and watching the first one in theaters, it's crazy seeing the movie on the big screen, so many things that you miss, and it's just so entertaining, something about like the Green Goblin being this, that character, the villain in the first one, the Green Goblin, it is 100% Willem Dafoe. Like there's no makeup, there's no mask covering his face 100% of the time, and you see a lot of scenes from Willem Dafoe to where he's like, you see scenes with the villain by himself. A lot of superhero movies, you don't get the scenes with the villain by themselves, especially when they're having like nervous breakdowns. Like I noticed with the first two Spider-Man movies, Doc Ock and Norman Osborn, they kind of bleed into this weird mix of like insanity. Norman Osborn was kind of he was kind of having like a breakdown, and we know what happened. He got injected with the body enhancers, and now he's kind of having a little bit of a psychotic break. But we see a lot of scenes of him like freaking out, like, and crying and going, please don't do that to Peter. He's like a son to me. What about my kid and Harry, and and he's crying and he's crawling on the ground, and there's so many of these scenes with Norman Osborn where it's like, wow, it feels traumatizing to watch. It feels like I'm watching somebody really going through something horrible, and that's scary, because like no one wants to go through that. No one wants to go through this inner voice in your head that's telling you to do something that you don't want to do, but then you're kind of convinced to do it. And that's like literally the Green Goblin. He says something in that movie. He's like, we can either take over the world, or we can keep fighting until everybody's, we can keep fighting and kill everybody until we're both dead. Like something like that. But like the villain in the first Spider-Man is like hands down awesome. And it's so good. In the Spider-Man movies, the original trilogy, at least for the first two, it has this really cool, authentic comic book feel. I mean, you see them walking down the streets, and the buildings look like set. It looks like a set. But that's what makes it look real. I don't know what it is. It just it's a set, but it looks real. And there's so many good moments. And then watching the second one again, you're like, wow, the second one definitely takes itself a little bit more seriously than the first one. The first one has a lot of moments where it kind of has this balance of like a little bit of cheesiness, where it's like, oh, comic book movies weren't afraid to kind of go a little cheesy. Like little Sam Raimi, he had those transitions when he's drawing, when Peter Parker's drawing on the notepad, and you have these transitions and all that stuff, and it was so funny. And then the second one is so much more serious, and the second one kind of had, same thing with Doc Ock, same thing. His character, the whole thing, I'm forgetting, Molina, the actor, I keep forgetting his name, but he is that villain. Again, no mask, no nothing. It's him. No makeup. It's mainly him, and he's so good. And the same thing, he's kind of battling this inner voice, and it's kind of like, it's so hard. It is. It's that what makes a great villain. It's where it's more, when the villain is more human, I think it makes it so much greater. And you have this, and the whole time Peter Parker is fighting freaking Doc Ock in that whole movie. Like, when's the last time did you see a superhero movie where they were actually just fist fighting the whole time? At least for Spider-Man. I feel like now the new modern Spider-Mans, there's so much stuff going on. It's like, we're missing the simple punching back and forth, and we had that all throughout Spider-Man 2. So much actual hand-to-hand combat makes it look so good, and it's just so entertaining to watch. And I thought like Kirsten Dunst definitely was like, after seeing on the big screen, I've seen these movies 1,000 times, but watching on the big screen, I'm like, wow, Kirsten Dunst definitely she stood out in the second one. Really, really amazing. And my roommate even said, yeah, it's a shame they downplayed her for the third one. But I'll see the third one again, and I hope they get some, new, understanding of the third one from my perspective, and they're also good. And all movies are meant to be good. At the end of the day, you're rooting for the movie to be good. And I have no hate for every movie. I dislike some movies. Yeah, of course. I don't like the way some directors direct the movie. I don't like the way some writers write the movie. At the end of the day, it's somebody writing, it's somebody directing, it's somebody acting. They're putting their own internal beliefs and wants into the story, and sometimes you don't know what you're watching. You don't know what they're trying to do, manipulate. Sometimes there's manipulation in a movie. The movies are meant to get you to feel. They're meant to get you sad, happy, exciting, scared. So there's a form of manipulation in there. So you always got to be careful, because you don't know who's behind the screen. You don't know who is trying. You don't know what they do. You don't know what their values are. But that's a whole nother topic, and I always go back to that. But looking at Spider-Man, looking at what it is, at the end of the day, it's a movie, and that's what they are. Some people, it's a movie, and that's a movie I find to be fun and exciting and enjoyable. Like, everybody has different tastes. Some people like movies, some people don't like certain movies. I like some, I don't like certain, But I want to talk about Spider-Man. And the last thing I'll say, if you were at the AMC Burbank 16 in Burbank, California, at the 8 o'clock showing, there were no more posters to hand out. And I walked in there, and I asked for the poster, and the guy at the ticket booth said, oh, there's no more posters. And I was like, what? There's no more posters? And I'm thinking, I'm trying to collect all 3 of them so I can have them side by side. I already have the first one from the last Monday. How do you not have any more posters? But then I turn around, and right next to him is the 3D glasses bin that they usually have in the theater next to the ticket booth. And inside the drawer, I see Spider-Man 2 posters. I'm looking, I'm like, that's Spider-Man and Mary Jane swinging up in the air. And I went, excuse me, sir, aren't those the posters right there? And he looks down and he goes, oh my gosh, I had no idea they were here. So many people asked me for the posters. I didn't give it to them. And he gave me the first 2 posters from that stack. And I'm not kidding, within 20 minutes, people ran back to the booth, grabbed the posters. Those posters were gone. So if you were at the 8 o'clock showing at the AMC Burbank 16, you got those posters because of me. And hopefully everybody got them, and hopefully, and if not, go on eBay. Maybe you could spend $30 on a poster, which is insane because they're only 11 by 17. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited to see Spider-Man 3, and that's all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Spider-Man. How's the Green Goblin go? How's he say? Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I don't know. I just love the part in the first Spider-Man where the Green Goblin gets shot in the webs when after he comes in during the parade and he blows up the balcony and Mary Jane's hanging off on the side. Spider-Man shoots webs at the Green Goblin and he just goes, like he just goes, oh, like he just kind of puts his hand over his face, and it's so funny because it's just like a it's like my favorite. I love that part. And then what I love about Doc Ock in the second one, every time he pops up, he has that music that comes in. It's so exciting. I wish I can do it. I have it in my head, but I can't do it in my mouth. But it's super exciting. And I love every time he pops up, the music kicks in. I love it when he pops up in the bank. The camera pans over, and he's wearing this black coat and a hat. And it looks like an old, bank robbery movie, and the music kicks in, and every time he does that turn, he kind of does that like they have that shot where he kind of turns and it's his profile, and they do it 3 times. Love how they do that. So I hope for the third one, I hope I can see some things that stick out, and I hope to see some things that stick out as I'm talking about the first 2. Anyway, Spider-Man. All right, cool.